From the true origin of the Red Devils nickname to the club's first ever non-British manager, these are 15 things you might not know about the biggest club in England, Manchester United. Let's start with Manchester United's origins because it's not what you think. The club wasn't always known as Manchester United or even wore red. Back in 1878, they were called Newton Heath LYR Football Club and wore green and gold kits. But by 1902, financial troubles forced a rebranding and Manchester United was born, complete with the now iconic red and white colors. And speaking of iconic names, you've heard the nickname the Red Devils, but do you know where it comes from? In the 1960s, Sir Matt Busby took inspiration from a local rugby team called the Salford Red Devils. He believed the nickname would strike fear into opponents and gave the club a fierce identity. Eventually, it became so iconic that the club added a devil holding a trident to its crest in 1970. Manchester United's first competitive match as Newton Heath took place in 1886, where they lost 2-7 to Blackburn Olympic Reserves. It's hard to imagine such a humble beginning for a club that now is one of the biggest in the world. And speaking of beginnings, did you know United was also a pioneer in shirt sponsorships? Yes, in 1982, Sharp Electronics became Manchester United's first ever shirt sponsor. Their logo was front and center during the club's rise to prominence under Sir Alex Ferguson. Speaking of Ferguson, he left an indelible mark on the club. He was also Manchester United's longest serving manager and managed us for an astonishing 27 years, from 1986 to 2013. Under his leadership, the club won 38 trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. His era defined Manchester United's dominance, but it's not just managers who leave legacies, players do too. Wayne Rooney is Manchester United's all-time leading scorer with 253 goals. He surpassed Sir Bobby Charlton's record in 2017, solidifying his place in club history. But scoring records aren't the only thing United excels in. They've also led the way in fan engagement at Old Trafford. But the highest attendance at Old Trafford wasn't even for a Manchester United game. It was for an FA Cup semi-final in 1939 between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Grimsby Town, with 76,962 fans packing the stadium. Just imagine that atmosphere. But there's more to Old Trafford than just numbers. The stage for the Red Devils has its own remarkable history. Old Trafford has been the club's home since 1910, but did you know it was nearly destroyed during World War II? In 1941, German bombs left the stadium in ruins. Manchester United had to play their home games at their rival's stadium, Manchester City's main road, for 8 years until Old Trafford was rebuilt in 1949. This resilience mirrors the club's ability to rise again after hardship, just like another historic event. The 1958 Munich Air Disaster remains one of the darkest chapters in Manchester United's history. The tragedy claimed the lives of 23 people, including 8 players from the legendary Busby Babes. Despite the heartbreak, Sir Matt Busby rebuilt the team and their story continues to inspire. Did you know Manchester United was the first English club to win the European Cup, now known as the UEFA Champions League? In 1968, Sir Matt Busby and Manchester United beat Benfica 4-1 in a dramatic final at Wembley, a victory dedicated to the players who lost their lives in the Munich Air Disaster a decade earlier. But Manchester United wasn't only the first English team to win the European Cup, but also the first treble-winning team in England. In 1999, Manchester United made history again as they became the first English team to win the treble, the Premier League, FA Cup, and UEFA Champions League. Only Manchester City has matched this achievement since. And when it comes to on-field dominance, United has made a habit of breaking records. Scoring 9 goals in a single game is a feat most clubs can only dream of, but Manchester United has done it twice. The first time was a 9-0 thrashing of Ipswich Town in 1995, and they repeated the magic against Southampton in 2021. These results are a reminder of the club's attacking brilliance, fueled by legends like Ryan Giggs, who also happens to hold another fascinating record. Ryan Giggs isn't just a club legend, he also scored United's fastest ever goal, finding the net just 15 seconds into a match against Southampton in 1995. It was the kind of moment that sets the tone for a game and leaves fans in awe. Speaking of fan favorites, there's one figure who always entertains the crowd at Old Trafford, and that is Fred the Red. Since 1994, Fred the Red has been Manchester United's official mascot. Dressed in red with a cheeky grin, he's a favorite among young fans and a constant presence on match days. When you think of Manchester United managers, iconic names like Sir Matt Busby and Sir Alex Ferguson come to mind. But did you know that Louis van Gaal was the first non-British manager in the club's history? Appointed in 2014, the Dutchman brought a new philosophy to the club, winning the FA Cup during his tenure. His appointment marked a significant shift in the club's approach to management. And there you have it, 15 things you may or may not know about Manchester United. If you like this type of content, then don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a future video. And YouTube think you would like this video right here, so just click it. Not gonna lie, it's very good. Why haven't you clicked it yet? This video is done.